this. All truths outside here, they are distorted. All of them. All of them. Last time, I was telling you that languages and words are distorted, but actually it's not the languages. What is distorting everything are the words. Because language is sound, is a frequency of sound. Because when we speak, unanisikia sasa? Can you hear me? Shada, can you hear me? That sound, yeah, I mean, language is sound frequency. There are frequencies of sound, and actually, even the words that we speak, the words that we are given to speak, each note of sound which we speak to a word, because we are given words that trigger something. I was telling you that sound, that language is sound frequency, and what creates even in the beginning, when creation was taking place, it was the sound that declared, let there be. That is sound. So sound it is what creates. Sound is what put everything into form and shape. There is a certain scientist, I'll send you the link of that video, where he pours some grains of rice or grains of sugar, these sugar particles, and I saw, and then they come into shape and form. He's making different frequencies, and they are forming that. That is exactly what sound is. That is exactly what you are when you talk is. And here comes the problem. The problem comes to the words that we are given. Because the words that we are given, number one, they, without our knowledge, in one way or another, words are the ones that triggers. It's like a word is formulated when given to you, and when you use it, it triggers that kind of emotion. Each single word, it has its own kind of emotion, and this emotion is then we then produce like a word. As I'm talking to you right now, when I speak a word, I am presenting it according to the emotion or that energy that word is created with, triggers emotions within me, and when I speak that word, they are like created to bring certain how can I put it, like certain, the same frequency of sound but different bandwidth of sound. Frequency is the same of sound but different bandwidth. That's why when you are told that be careful with the words that you speak, it's because this sound without words, it will be like like that if there's no words, and it works. But these words which breaks this sound, ndo wewe uweze kuongea maneno in words, it is a mix up. This sound frequency is like it is like the graph is like straight, and then these words, each letter maybe, or each word has got, like, when it is projected, there is that fluctuation in that graph. So that's why I'm telling you, everything outside here is distorted from the words. By the words, the language has got no problem, because the language of man is sound. What we are producing is sound. No one is producing a language. No one is producing words, or what? We are producing sound, no words. It is sound. You are experiencing them as words because of how those words are created. They pick, like the sound energy, the sound frequency within us picks that template of the word to break itself into words, the sound. So problem is the language. You have to ask yourself, Sheila, number one, why are we being sold languages which are not ours? Did everyone had to speak English? For real? Like, why? Do we have, like, why should English be like an international language? Everyone should be speaking, like, number one language is English. Why? There is a reason. Because even the native languages, they were powerful, Sheila. They were powerful. People could be chanting in their name. People used to chant. They were not worshipping fake gods. It is sound frequency. They just went into nature and they started chanting. They were not worshipping demons or what. Chanting. Sound frequency. The native languages, our ancient ancestors, they just chanted. And if it was rain, it rained. If it was harvest, they harvested. Just by chanting. That is how powerful it is. And they knew this. That's why they came and gave us the languages which were distorted. Every, like, 80% of the words, they mean the opposite of whatever we understand. Many of the words are just, they have just opposite meaning. But this is like, I'm always saying that everything in this world is the other way around. The other way around. The other way around. Everything is distorted. Those are the words now. The language which has been given to us to cut down the communication. We are being used to create realities. We are not being used only here. Those whom we think they are our controllers, themselves are slaves. We are used by beings outside to create realities there. Sheila, I told you, we don't know who, we have never we never take time to think. When you are told be still, it's time to be with yourself. And that is the time you think. And thinking is not of the physical mind, like I'm in solitude and I am contemplating what you are thinking about. It is not that. The mind of Christ, the higher mind, or the mind of God within, is together with the physical mind. You have only one mind. And this mind has got two parts, the higher mind and the physical mind. They cannot work together. One works when the other is not working. The mind of God or the mind of Christ can only think when the physical mind is not thinking. Therefore, our thinking is that stillness. Stillness and just being is what the thinking mind of God is. It is not thinking that or this. It is not thinking past or future, because it is all. Therefore, it cannot wander when everything is one with it. Everything is distorted here, upside down. And these things, and people are just picking recent histories, just recent histories, like you will say, oh, our ancestors, they were enslaved. These things started, these agendas were started hundreds, or I can say millions of years ago. Millions of years ago, these agendas were put into place. And man does not know who we are. Humanity, we do not know who we are, because humanity does not know their history. When you don't know where you're coming from, you are lost. And that is one thing that they used, because no one knows where they come from. No one knows if they were created or they dropped from somewhere up in the sky. No one. Everyone is being given different stories. Everyone is being given different stories. When you're looking into finding your origins of creation, they are a disaster. Sheila, all the truth about creation, I don't know, this one came and he removed Adam. There's a lot of truths there, but they are very deep, not as lightly as how people are reading them. They are crazy truths here. Sheila, truths are painful. That's why I'm telling people, be carefully on what you are seeking. If you are seeking God, seek for God. If you are seeking truths, be sure that you are ready, because they are crazy than you think. I'm telling you, even spirituality is distorted, Sheila. Do your own thinking by stilling your mind and being stillness, Sheila. Everything is distorted. The stories of souls, how they reincarnate here, it is not clear. It is distorted. Who was created here, who was living here, who came from where, is distorted. When our religions tell us that God created heavens and the earth and he separated the water and he created Adam, let me tell you, they are not talking about the waters. They are not talking about the waters. Like they were just waters. And people haven't asked, these waters are just waters. Sheila, there is a kingdom of water here. And it was here before humanity came here. There is no empty space. Sheila, there is no empty space. When you think there is space, you can move your hand and move your body. There is no empty space in existence. That is what God is. No empty space. Space comes forth because of levels of densities, but there is no space. Levels of dimensions, there is no space, there is no time. You are moving through many dimensions. Sheila, everyone is moving through many, many dimensions. Even if you just walking from your gate to your house, let me tell you, you are passing through many dimensions and densities. There is no empty space. The truths here are distorted. They never talked about they have never spoken about what resides in the water. They have never spoken the truth about the waters. You're just being told 80% of the planet is water, 70% of humanity is water. They are not telling you these waters. They are telling you there is fish there. Sheila, they are water beings. They are water spirits. And all the shit we are doing here to pollute the rivers and the oceans, we're just provoking them sometimes. That's why there could be floods, there could be tsunamis. Sheila, I'm telling you, this place is a crazy place. Whoever introduced money, you have to know one thing. Money comes from water spirits and fire spirits. They are all elemental spirits. They were below man. They were below man. But immediately man submitted to them. They became above man. Because man started going to elemental spirits for children, elemental spirit for wealth and money. We exalted them. That's why they became above us. The water kingdom has got beings, Sheila, many races than our own. Here you say there's black, white, there are races there. And the craziest thing is that the magnificent ones have kept out of touch with humanity. They are waiting for humanity to rise in their frequencies so that they can show themselves. Those which are showing themselves up are crazy. Where people go and ask for money, they are crazy. They are crazy. They come here. This is what they do. The negative entities from the waters, this is what they do. They are using humans as slaves. And their trick is very simple. You are asking for money? Let me tell you, Sheila, if you are not balanced, you will pray for money and you will get money. Let me tell you, if you are not balanced, be sure the money is not coming from the one infinite creator. Be sure. They are everywhere here. When you pray for money, they'll be there in disguise and bring money to you. You think they are your prayers. Sheila, these physical things, attachments, people are going down with them. They'll bring you money, and immediately they bring you money, they are connected to you. And to your generation which is to come, Sheila, these water entities move through anything that contains water. Even air, it contains water. If you condense air, you get water. So when you get the money, you are connected to them. They are already connected to your kids, because the sperm of the father has water. Through that, they'll connect to the baby. It will go that 2 generations. And all your etheric or energy bodies in the etheric realms, you have already been taken. You are there. They never talk about the waters. They never say that this system, whoever created the system of money, has connections with these crazy beings or negative beings from the waters. Because currency, money is what currency is. Currency is what current is. Current comes from water. I'm telling you, they never tell people truths. They never tell people that other people, there were creation dramas here. And people were created from animals. They never say that. They never tell you that there are races here who do not original, who their original home is not here. They were just exiled here. There were wars in heavens, wherever it is. If it is here, if everything is happening here, there were wars. And one race, was in the wars. Those wars, somewhere very far outside even this galaxy and the star system. And they were sent into exile. And after they were sent into exile, they were roaming around. Very advanced. They were roaming around. Very advanced. And they were invited in the Sirius star system. And because they were exiled there, I don't know if they were tricked or they were told that, listen, you guys, you cannot stay here, you get. And actually, they were not tricked. In that place, this is what they did. They saw a water entity or being, and they ate it, killed it and ate it. A sea creature, they killed and ate it. It was a being, a water being. And that was the mistake. From where they came from, they went to Sirius B. They were exiled, then they came to Sirius B, and in Sirius B they ate one of the water beings. Only one. They ate only one. Only one. And I think they were told, you guys, there is a place somewhere there where there's something going on there, some experiments or this or that. That is the only place you can go, nowhere else. And you cannot leave that place. And they were brought here. And there is ancient spiritual texts, they're talking about other stories. Anunnaki, they came with their own workers, and they used them as slaves, and they mutinied. And the Anunnaki decided to create a human being to work in the mines. Sheila, Anunnaki did not come with any. These guys who were exiled, they were brought here, either tricked or they had no choice because of whatever the atrocities. The atrocity, it was against the laws of the universe what they did. So it is either they were brought here like, hey, this is a prison you are going to stay. Let's go. Our own spiritual books, they tell us the Anunnaki came here with they are calling them Agigis or something like that, I don't know, of their own, and they were working in the. It was not. It was a race, that which was exiled, which was brought here. And when they were being overworked, they mutinied. And after they mutinied is when they decided that let us create. But that race was already there. And as they were exiled, this is what happened. When the Anunnaki decided, because that moment when the Anunnaki were using them, these guys to mine for their gold, you have to know that they were above, they were the same as the Anunnaki, so there was nothing they could do to them. Like, you do me, I do you. We are not working, we are in prison here. Yeah. Huh? As they mutinied, they could do nothing to them. In fact, they were just above them. So they decided to create their own creatures, their own humanoids. And this is when they created. Through experiments. Crazy experiments. Sheila, hold. So they decided that to create their own humanoid. And after it's raining, It's raining cats and dogs here. So when they decided to create their own humanoid, which is a human now, it was through experiments. It is DNA experiments. And they created one from another animal here. And this is what happens, when vessels are created. Those who do that, they know. Even I think there is, I don't know, but this is crazy because initially there were earlier stories that like they knew how to. There are different hierarchies where there are people who, this organization of souls which reincarnates here, it is being controlled. Let me tell you, there are beings which we call angelic beings or higher beings or whatever they are. There are beings who are dealing with this reincarnating of souls here. So these humanoids which were created here, this is what happened. And this one I'm very sure. I didn't read it anywhere. I was not told by anyone. But I'm certainly sure they reincarnated the souls from the planets which destroyed themselves. The souls from Mars, from Meldek, from Tiamat. These souls, after they destroyed their planet, they somewhere they are taken for healing the trauma. If we destroy this planet, Sheila, we are done. Everyone. Trauma. Same trauma. Everyone. So they can still now, right now they are fighting. Let them fight. But if they decide to escalate this, everyone is done. You have to go for healing before you reincarnate back into third density. All of us. So this is what happens. These souls were brought here to reincarnate in those bodies. They were now being released to reincarnate in those bodies. Sheila, this wars you are seeing here, on this earth, this wars, they are just effects of the karmas of the souls of the planets which destroyed themselves through war, nuclear wars. This planet called Maldek is what the asteroid belt is. Those wars, they exploded it into pieces. They are the souls which are here. They are the same ones which are creating havoc. Now, back to another race which came here. I think it was like a cycle, because everything is governed by the cycle. I think there were cycles where, and because they were highly spiritual and advanced, but because it's only that they were exiled here, and they were used as slaves here in this prison. They decided that it's time to change their living pattern. Forget everything about technology. They could write. They decided, let us forget about writing. Let us forget all the technologies we have. Let us go back to the nature. If it is knowledge, let it be passed through generations. Let it be passed through generations. From now, we've become peaceful people. No more violence in nature. Sheila, if today we decide to leave all our technologies, like switch off the electricity, all gadgets, switch them off. This is what happens. We just reset ourselves to early Stone Age because nothing technological. We just decide to face them off. We just have to put this power, electricity in this planet off completely, and we have reset ourselves. That's what they did. In settlements, and they were facing everything out, and they were living in settlements, and someone else got out of the settlement because they said, no, let me go deep further, and I live alone there with nature. When they went there, they built their grass houses. And somebody else, and they told other guys, hey, I found a place very cool, and we can build our grass houses here. We start in nature. They built their grass houses. But the grass houses were not lasting. And then another one got out. He went to see, and he discovered a cave. And he told the others, hey, there is a cave here. You don't need to build a house. You can live in caves. That is what that race did. Left everything, forgot everything, and learn everything to decide to be peaceful. But this is what happens. The race that was genetically created here, and the race that came here, their DNA is different than the rest that was created here. And so, these things started to turn around. These guys who are peaceful now, they were taken advantage of. And as they were living in caves, they could pray, rains could come. They were still powerful, and they were more powerful spiritual. They could heal themselves they could speak to trees, call rains, speak to winds to come down. They could just speak to fires to go off. This was still a threat. So what do we do to them? Let us confuse them. With what? With funny beliefs. And it is millions of years, Therefore, it means it reached a time the generations which were in the caves did not know even of any technology, any guns. So immediately they were threatened with the gun. It was new to them. Because this thing is not over 100,000 years. It's a thing of maybe 900,000 years ago. And this race which came and they unlearned everything and went into the caves, they brought them funny beliefs, started teaching them funny languages, which produces distorted sound frequencies, teaching them new ways of life which were against nature. And they took them as slaves, most of the part. Like they were going to use them as slaves, and yes, they used them as slaves. And at the same time, they were using them for interbreeding. to stabilize the DNAs. Interbreeding. This is where the word picnic comes from. There was some time when it was a picnic day or a season or whatever it is. When it was a picnic, it was a pick a nigger. If you are told, hey, tomorrow is picnic, it's a day of picking a nigger. Picnic come from pick a nigger. Interbreeding. The whole story I'm telling you about, this is what happens. Sheila, this story I knew it long time ago. Long time ago. From where I knew it, I didn't know. I've always been telling people, no. And actually, I knew it. There was some time I was reading an epic. A Zulu epic, which was talking about the moon, how it was brought here by the twin brothers. I was reading that, and after some time, like months passed, but that was the thing which I was always like doing research on. But after that, I came to understand that was an understanding that no, the Zulu warriors. I started doing research about the Zulus, but a revelation came to me that what we call as the Zulu, the ancestors of the Zulu, forget about the Zulu, which we know. I'm telling you, this thing is of millions of years ago. Millions of years ago, 100,000 of years ago, nearly to a millions, and in fact even millions of years ago. The ancestors of what we call as the Zulu. The ancestors of what we call as the Zulu. They are the ones who came from the skies. They are the ones who came from the skies. They were black. They were black. Because from wherever they were banished from into exile, they had to cross around the sun. They had to cross the sun around it to the star of Sirius. And the energies of the sun is what made them to be black with melanin. Melanin is not a color. It is a Greek word which means heat. The heat of the sun is what made them black, is what implanted the melanin into their DNA or their genes. The ancestors of the Zulu, they were technological, advanced, and spiritual. They were what we call as the Zulu is a race of warriors from another star system, not this, another star system. They are a race of warriors. That's why the Zulu here, the local Zulus we have here, they had picked that warrior thing. They were warriors, Zulu. Sheila, the word Zulu means up in the skies. In our Mijikenda languages, Zulu ni juu, Zulu, Zulu. And when they came here, whatever happened. And when they decided to settle, they started to settle. And they started expanding and moving and expanding and expanding. While they were expanding, wherever they went, they said, we are the people from the skies. We are the Bantus. Bantu. Bantu means people. Ba is people. Tu is the sky. If you read the ancient scriptures, scrolls or whatever, Ntu, there is a god of the sky called Nut. It is where Ntu was taken from. The sky. Nut is the sky. Nut is the sky. Ntu is the sky. When they say we are the Bantu, it means that we are the people of the skies, from the skies. All the Bantus, they come from South Africa. Shungwaya. All the Bantus come from the Zulu. Not the Zulu we know right now. The ancient Zulu. And this is what happened. The Zulu had direct connections to 9. It is said, like, I don't know, it is the 9 gods or 9 what, but something very high of the 9. They had that. And the Zulu themselves had 9 elders. And the Zulu, and when they break down to the Bantus, they had 9 elders too. Everywhere there were 9 elders. There were 9 elders everywhere. And within the Bantu came forth the 9 tribes called the Mijikenda. 9 villages at the East African coast. What is in the 9? I don't know. And it was known because religions here started at the coast. All of them. Christianity and Islam. The first people here to be given religion are the Mijikenda. There was a reason. The dumbest people are the Mijikenda. There is a reason. Sheila, half of the truth has never been taught, has never been told, has never been said. If you are waiting for a truth to come outside of you, you are misled. Outside of you is a disaster. You just have to be in awareness, an observer, participating with love. That is how crazy it is.